Yeah, I think we would have been here till nightfall if we actually didn't use some of your new tools to
Well,
make this a little bit easier and quicker.
Yeah. Today we're going to walk through a turf install. What's interesting about turf is it's the same exact base as what we're doing underneath our paver installations. And yet what I love about this industry, a lot of it translates into our same industry with a lot of the same tools, the systems and processes. And today I'm super excited to have with me
Teresa from GardenMark.
Oh, so glad to have you here.
Thank you for inviting us.
What makes GardenMark so special?
So I think there's a couple of things. Number one, we're a very small family-owned company, and I think the amount of customer service that we offer our customers is by far, a priority for us and something that's not offered in the industry. I've got my guys with me here today, and they're going to be doing our installation and a training for us. Something that you don't see often is this amount of customer service. And we offer different size widths that our competitors don't offer. So some of our grass comes 7.5 feet wide, as well as 15 feet wide.
Which is a huge advantage.
Huge advantage. And also we don't need an infill in our grass, which really saves time and money. And so that's a huge priority for a lot of our contractors and homeowners too, who don't want
the maintenance too. I've seen it where it migrates and starts to get built up and shipped and whatnot. So
and families don't want their children to actually dragging that into the house either. So it's a really big deal for us. Yeah.
Super excited.
Yeah, so are we. Thank you.
Let's see how this comes together.
As hardscapers and landscapers, you already know how to do the base prep necessary for the installation of GardenMark artificial grass. So you're already 50% done with the job because you know how to do your base prep. Today we're going to show you how to do the rest of the project.
So when it comes to basing out, when we're doing turf, very, very similar to hardscapes. Obviously the CMHA wants us staying totally away from stone dust, which has been kind of standard practice for when you're laying turf. However, C33 is another substitute, and that's what I've done here. C33 sand, you still have your nice free draining, which works out really well. And what I've done is I've done my initial screeding, did a tamping over the top of it just to compact, actually wet it and tamped it. And now I'm just going through with my final. I am leaving this down, according to their spec, about a 1/2 inch. And that's the beauty of the maxi gauge. This allows me to go up or down with this tab here. I can also lock it into all my various lengths, my 2 foot, my 4 foot, my 6 foot, and my 7 foot 11 inch. But that allows me then just to set this on my fixed edge, whether it be pavers, concrete, whatever you're up against, gets my height exact every time. Then when I lay my turf in here, it's gonna be the exact height. So I can do that around all my edges. And you'll see in the next section, I'm going to actually lock onto the paver, and then I'll actually exchange this out for larger lengths and be able to lay out to a screed rail. So using a quickie laser rod, I have 0 here in the middle. I can also use 0 at the bottom or at the top. But for this instance, I'm going to use 0 here in the middle. Before I even do anything, I'm going to lock my receiver at 0, turn my receiver on. Now I'm going to loosen my internal foot, and this is going to allow me to set any grade. Okay, I'm going to tighten that up. That's my final grade. I know that I want to be down a 1/2 inch from my finished grade. I want to be down a 1/2 inch from finished grade here to the top of my base. So I'm going to do with lasers, you go up to go down. So I'm going to go up to a 1/2 inch. And that's what I want to set this pipe level to. So I'm low, that's why I put a pile of sand here. Now I can simply set this here. I'm set the perfect height.
After you've done your base prep, you're going to make sure you lay your grass with the fibers going in the proper direction. the direction of the fibers are coming towards you. Because when you lift the fibers up so they're standing upright, you want to be able to look underneath the fibers. So here, this is the front of the house. We're going to be walking out into the house. I have my fibers coming towards us so that when we lift it, we're looking underneath. It's just a better color. You know, you're going to put the grass out in the sun, you're going to make it relax in the heat and the sun for a little bit so that when you're playing with it and you're cutting it and you're shaping it, it's a little bit more malleable and you can handle it a little bit more easily.
So those of you know, my background's hardscapes. It's all I've ever known my whole life. Knowing my background, I'm trying to get the tools for the hardscape world to work into the turf industry. And that's what I'm going to do here. And behind me you can see I got my curve laid out with my flex pipe. I'm now going to use my cutoff saw and score that and cut that, and we'll see how that comes out. So another thing I want to point out, obviously I cut the first curve with a gas-powered saw, a 14-inch blade. To me, that's what I've grown up on. It's a very comfortable feel for me. However, we're seeing a lot of the electric versions roll into our industry, and there's multiples out there. So this would be another smaller, a little bit smaller, more compact saw that could do the same thing. Let's see how this one performs. So another tip, when I'm cutting, I'm not just looking straight down at that flex pipe. I'm keeping my eyes focused ahead, because sometimes you get little divots and whatnot, and especially as you're cutting. If this was a paver install, I'd have pavers holding it every 18 inches. But with this system, I'm just holding it with the nails. And like I said, I'm just gonna keep my eyes focused ahead so I can hit those high spots. But one thing you'll notice, just the free-flowing curves, which were amazing. You notice the first time being done using a cutoff saw to cut our curves. And I know some of you may yay or nay it, but as far as the finished product, super thrilled with what we have here. I cut the one side with the gas, the other side I did with my electric saw. I did notice, one thing I want to point out, with the Husqvarna saw, the exhaust kicks out the bottom by the blade. We do have a couple little curly burn marks here where I got down. So if you are going to use a saw, a gas saw, just pay attention to where that exhaust is coming out. Maybe change your angle, stand up a little taller so you're not damaging the grass. Is it noticeable? Not really. I had to have it pointed out to me to even notice it. But that is one area you're going to want to be cautious of. Otherwise, cutting with a cutoff saw, what an amazing outcome.
And you make sure everything is pulled nice and taut. You're going to use your nails every 6 inches along the perimeter, and you're going to nail those in. You're going to make sure that you pull any grass fibers out from underneath the nail head, and you're going to make sure that you don't pound it in so much so that you see a dimpling, because you never want to see the nails.
So this system is laid on an open grade system. We've got 3/4 clean stone, pavers are laid on top. Then we installed the Quickie hybrid edging. So this is designed specifically for open grade systems. We have our V-shaped stake that drops down in there, grabbing enough mass to prevent lateral creep. However, the question is, what do I do then when I want to put my nails in for my turf? So what we've actually done here is I've marked on the pavers everywhere where this open slot is. That allows me to get it within 1 inch of the edge, which is what they suggest. And I've just marked the pavers at every one of these. This edging obviously is down below here. So I just mark on the pavers every 9 inches, these marks. Then when I'm putting in my turf, I can just know exactly where that goes, and I can hit my nail in. It's an amazing system, keeps everything interlocked into the edging, makes it extremely strong. So using the Quickie hammer to our SDS Max hammer drill, we've specifically designed this for our industry for hitting the spikes, your 10, 12-inch spikes, into your hybrid edging. Any of your plastic edging can be used for likewise. But when you're hitting that spike in, this is designed with a 3/8 depth here so that the actual outside of this hammer bottoms out and hits the edging before your nail bottoms out. If your nail hits the edging, it's going to actually flex back and it's going to lose all its integrity. You'll be able to pull it right out. So we designed this that once it's bottomed out to the steel, it's actually going to keep the nail about 3/8 of an inch off of the finished surface from bottom out. So that's why this correlates extremely well into the turf industry, because when you're hitting these nails in, you do not want them to bottom out onto your turf, because then you're going to get a pucker mark where you're going to have all these indents. So what this allows you to do is just simply set it on here, and that's not going to bottom it out and get a pucker mark.
We're just starting the process for seaming two pieces together. We've opened up two pieces here, folded them over. We put the tape mark down, shiny side down to the ground, dull side up. We've now taken out bond mark, and we're going to put the bond mark on the tape mark, zigzag pattern. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom. Once we get there, we're going to take our spackle knife, and then we're going to smooth that over. We're going to do that before we bring the two pieces together. We put a little stake here in the tape mark to just hold it in place for now. That will be removed, but we don't want the tape mark to move while we're doing this process. Now, one thing you have to remember about the bond mark, it must be used under very dry conditions and cure for 24 hours before any rain or moisture hits it. Very important to know that. Got to be careful not to spill the bond mark on any pavers or the grass fibers. It will not come off. You can get about 1 bottle of bond mark to approximately 25 linear feet of the tape mark when you're seaming. You can also use the bond mark when you're affixing the grass to any concrete or decking, and you would do that by spot gluing every 6 inches along the body of the grass. You can also use the bond mark when affixing the grass to any rooftop structure. Again, spot gluing, and you can get approximately 100 square feet from 1 bottle of glue when you're spot gluing. We're going to start bringing one side together like a zipper. You need somebody to hold two pieces open because you do want to make sure that you don't get any of the grass fibers into the bond mark. So you need a minimum of 2 people here. Jose's going to bring the two pieces together at the bottom. He's going to leave approximately 1/4 of an inch space for freeze and thaw. He's going to go slowly using his knees and the pressure from his knees to push those two pieces into the glue and the bond mark. He's going to slowly bring them together, making sure that the grass fibers stay out of the bond mark. Tommy's holding the two pieces apart while Jose is bringing them together. And then again, about 24 hours to cure. You're going to take your nail marks now, and you're going to go every 6 inches down that seam in a serpentine pattern. Once we brush the grass, that seam will disappear. So now that you've completed your installation of the grass by nailing around the perimeter every 6 inches, you're going to use GardenMark Sweeper Pro, and you're going to raise the fibers of the grass so that they're standing upright. You're not going to use any infill in GardenMark artificial grass because it is unnecessary. We have a shorter thatch in the grass that actually helps keep the fibers standing upright, but you are going to sweep the fibers so that they are standing upright. That is your last process for the installation of the grass.
So job's wrapping up. Couldn't be more thrilled. This is super exciting. And I was just kind of observing the job site, but I looked over and also my eyes focused on this pickup truck. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. 3 men, Teresa, came here to do a training, 800 square feet of material on their truck, did the complete job in one day with just a pickup truck. So that should get light bulbs to go off for us. We're always looking for different profit centers, but look at the investment and what you can do to further enhance your job sites. This is amazing. It's the end of the day, project is complete, and you might ask yourself the question, why Pave Tool is talking about turf? Why? For one, it's another profit center for all of you contractors out there. Years ago, we said, we're hardscapers, we don't do any of those stuff. Now look at, a hardscaper wouldn't think about offering a hardscape project without landscape lighting, without possibly some landscaping, maybe a grill island. So all these add-ons, they're all little profit centers. And I'm amazed at what this could be. You're here on the job already, why not offer this? Put this in every bid you can add on to it. And Teresa, you were talking about just some of the dollar amounts, and like What are you looking at for like profit on something like this?
Yeah, I mean, today, if this was something that we were charging for a customer, somebody could have walked away with a profit between $3,000 and $8,000. Same day, one day, 3 crew members, you know? And they already knew how to do the base, so all they had to do was extend the base.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
That is amazing.
And you know, and the tools are here already, and the crew's here already, and you've already got your customer, you know, believing in what you can offer. So
and I did love that today. I have to butt in here with the tools and being able to interject some of these different tools that I'm using every day on the hardscape side. All of a sudden, like, hey, no, we can use those even for installing the sod, and it does speed up the efficiencies. And so that was really exciting to see too, and see your guys excited about that opportunity too to speed up the process.
Yeah, I think we would have been here till nightfall if we actually didn't use some of your new tools to make this a little bit easier and quicker. So we were very excited about that.
It was definitely a fun install. Thanks again for watching this week's Tip of the Week. If you want to look at some more GardenMark's material, check out the links below. If you want to watch more, check out the top video on the screen. This is another one of GardenMark's projects that we installed. Pet-friendly turf. It's awesome. Hope to see you next week. Teresa, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Safe travels back.
Thank you.
You're still here? Click the video on the screen. That's what most contractors watch next. Look forward to seeing you next Friday for our Tip of the Week.